Segment 1. The Jewel Voice Broadcast. When Japan finally said, okay, we're done. 1945. Folks, August 15, 1945, very big day. Japan finally says, all right, we're finished. But they didn't exactly say it like that. Oh no, Emperor Hirohito, first time ever talking to his people, does this big fancy radio speech called the Jewel Voice Broadcast. Sounds beautiful, right? Only problem, it's in such old formal Japanese that half the country's thinking, what did he just say? Is the war over or are we going to lunch? It was like the most important announcement in the world, but also the least clear. Like when the cable company says, we're upgrading your service. You know something's changing, but you're not sure if it's good. Now remember, this is after Hiroshima and Nagasaki were hit with the atomic bombs. Absolutely devastating. Hundreds of thousands dead. And on top of that, the Soviet Union charges into Manchuria like they just got a Black Friday flyer. Japan's military leaders still wanted to fight. Unreal. They were thinking America would just give up. They didn't know us very well. The Imperial Council is split. 3 say stop. 3 say let's keep going until there's nothing left. And then in comes Hirohito. Does something no emperor ever did. Actually decides the policy himself. That's like the Queen of England showing up in Parliament and saying, enough, we're done. Huge moment. And here's where it gets wild. A group of die-hard military guys tries to stop the surrender. They literally storm the palace to find the recording before it can be broadcast. What happens? Loyal palace workers hide the record in a laundry basket. Yes, folks, peace in the Pacific was literally saved by dirty laundry. History books should mention that more often. Segment 2. A Tryst with Destiny. India says goodbye to the British. 1947. 2 years later, same date, August 15, 1947. Another empire falls. The British Raj in India. Lord Mountbatten, last viceroy, says, hey, let's make it symbolic. Same day as Japan's surrender. You know the Brits, always trying to make an exit sound classy. Jawaharlal Nehru gets up at midnight, gives this famous Tryst with Destiny speech. Big, poetic, powerful. But behind the scenes, it's chaos. The British aren't just leaving, they're splitting the place into India and Pakistan. Why? Because Muhammad Ali Jinnah and the Muslim League said they needed their own country. And who draws the border? Not an expert, not someone who's lived there. No, they bring in Sir Cyril Radcliffe, a British lawyer who had never set foot in India. He's given 5 weeks to carve up the subcontinent. Imagine someone dividing your house in half based on a map from the 20s and some bad census data. And here's the kicker. They didn't even release the new borders until 2 days after independence. So millions woke up free and then found out they were suddenly on the wrong side of a line. The result? One of the largest, bloodiest migrations in human history. 14 to 18 million people on the move. Hundreds of thousands slaughtered. Whole trains wiped out. And Gandhi, on the big day, he's not in Delhi celebrating. He's in Calcutta, trying to stop riots. Like skipping your own inauguration to go put out a fire across town. Segment 3. The Panama Canal opens. Engineering, politics, and mosquito warfare. 1914. August 15, 1914, Panama Canal opens. The ultimate shortcut. Cuts 8,000 miles off the trip between the Atlantic and Pacific. The French tried it first. Total disaster. 20,000 dead, bankrupt, the works. Enter the Americans. Teddy Roosevelt wants that canal so bad he basically invents modern deal-making foreign policy. Colombia says no to his terms, so suddenly Panama's having an Independence Day, backed by U.S. warships. Panama becomes a new country, signs over a 10-mile-wide canal zone to the U.S., and the rest is engineering history. But this wasn't just digging a ditch, this was war on nature. First victory, beating yellow fever and malaria by killing the mosquitoes. Imagine doctors hunting bugs like bounty hunters. Then came the big dig through the Culebra Cut. Unstable, landslides everywhere. They spent $350 million, biggest U.S. project ever at the time. Thousands of workers still died during the American phase. And when it finally opens, SS Ancon sails through. Global trade is about to change forever. But guess what? World War I breaks out a couple weeks earlier. So the canal opens and half the world immediately stops trading and starts fighting. Timing. Segment 4. Woodstock begins. Mud, music, and 400,000 hippies. 1969. August 15th, 1969. Woodstock begins. Advertised for 50,000 people, over 400,000 show up. That's not a music festival, that's a small city appearing overnight. Traffic so bad, artists had to be flown in by helicopter. Fences, gone. Tickets, useless. It became a free event by default. Richie Havens is first up, because everyone else is stuck on the highway. He plays so long he runs out of songs, so he makes up Freedom on the spot. Instant legend. Then you get Joan Baez, Santana, The Grateful Dead, Janis Joplin, The Who, and finally Hendrix, playing a version of the Star-Spangled Banner that sounded like Vietnam itself. Bombs, screams, helicopters, all from a guitar. It was haunting and brilliant. And here's the crazy part. For 3 days, with almost no food, no bathrooms, and no law enforcement, it stayed peaceful. Max Yasgur, the farmer who lent the land, tells the crowd, "You've proven the world wrong." He's right. It was a glimpse of a world where people actually got along, until Monday morning came and everyone remembered they had to go back to real life. Segment 5. Napoleon's birthday. The little corporal turns big time. 1769. August 15th, 1769. Napoleon Bonaparte is born in Corsica. Starts as a young artillery officer, ends up Emperor of France. Brilliant strategist, incredible organizer, and had the kind of confidence where he literally crowns himself. No pope needed. He builds an empire across Europe, spreads the Napoleonic Code, laws about equality before the law, no feudalism, religious tolerance. Ironically, he spreads revolutionary ideals while being a dictator. But hey, contradictions make history interesting. His downfall? Overreach. Invades Russia in winter. Classic mistake. Loses most of his army. Comes back for one last round at Waterloo. Loses again, and spends the rest of his life in exile. Still, you have to admit, for a guy born on a little island, he made the whole continent talk about him for decades. Segment 6. Will Rogers' last flight. America loses its cowboy philosopher. 1935. August 15th, 1935. Will Rogers dies in a plane crash with Wiley Post in Alaska. Will was the cowboy philosopher, a man who could roast politicians so gently that even they laughed. He had this homespun, common-sense charm. "All I know is what I read in the papers," he'd say, then hit you with a truth so sharp you didn't see it coming. In the Great Depression, he was like a national therapist, making people laugh while pointing out the nonsense. When he died, America stopped. Flags at half-mast, movie theaters went dark for 2 minutes. It wasn't just losing a celebrity, it was losing a voice of reason, the kind of voice we could use right now. Segment 7. The big picture. August 15th as a global turning point. Look at August 15th. It's not just a date, it's a reset button. Empires collapse, nations are born, trade routes open. 500,000 people test a utopia in a muddy field. One man tries to own Europe, and America loses a national treasure. Its endings and beginnings stacked on top of each other. It's the human story, our brilliance, our mistakes, our wild ambitions, all crammed into a single day on the calendar. And believe me, folks, if you're looking for a day that shows what we're capable of, for better or worse, August 15th is it.